this off for the speech. Good evening, everyone. My name is Doug Coward, and I'm the Executive Director of the nonprofit Solar and Energy Loan Fund. And I wanted to start actually by congratulating IDEAS for us for the great success that you guys have had. It's been really exciting to see you, really turn into a global entity. That's pretty fascinating to see college students start a nonprofit and then grow it into a global program. So congrats on that. We're honored to be working with you here in the Central Florida area. And we're also honored to have been invited this evening to tell you a little bit about our nonprofit green bank that we started here in Florida called the Solar and Energy Loan Fund. So I wanted to just very quickly introduce my wife and also the co-creator and co-leader of the organization, Duanne Andrade. And Duanne will be speaking in just a moment. I'm going to be providing a little bit of history and context about why we did this, how we got started, what we do. And then Duanne is going to dive into a little bit more detail about the types of lending programs that we have, the different loan capitalization, where are we raising loan dollars from, the mission of the organization in terms of financial inclusion. How do we help people gain access to low-cost financing, which is what we're all about. And then she's also going to talk a little bit about some of the special loan programs that she's built and customized with some of our local partners. And then we'll provide you with some more information about results of the organization. I also wanted to mention our team is growing pretty fast. We're at 18, and we're hiring 3 more people right now. We'll be at 21. And in the last year and a half, we were very fortunate to bring Lori Gomez-Borg on board as our Central Florida Program Manager, and she's been on board now about a year and a half and has done a wonderful job for us. And then speaking of ideas for us, we were very fortunate to connect with Ernest Calderon. And we just recently, I think it was about 3 months ago, that Ernest joined our team. And he's now working in a footprint of about 4 different states, helping us grow our program. So welcome aboard, Ernest. We're super excited to have you on the SELF team. So very quickly, I'm not going to get into a lot of history. I'm going to do about 15-minute intro here until Duanne speaks. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about why we started this and how. My background's in environmental planning, and then I got a wild hair and ran for political office, and I served as a county commissioner for 12 years. And during that time frame, I was trying to promote the clean energy economy, and this was way back. I mean, way back. In fact, I wanted to share a funny story. The first time I was elected a county commissioner and I was talking with the community and our state reps about going green, my state rep turned to me and said to me in a public meeting, "Commissioner, are you talking about painting the buildings green?" That's where I started 20 years ago. They literally didn't know what I was talking about. He was envisioning CCC work camps where everybody's slapping green paint on a building. It's like, no, not quite, sir. We had a long ways to go. So it's kind of amazing, actually, to see how much progress we actually have made. Individually in cities like Orlando and the great work that Chris and the city are doing, and Jeff Benavides in the county, but across the state, even as I drove up here. FPL's building solar fields, farms all over the place. When I was a commissioner, they're trying to build coal plants. I was fighting off coal plants. So to see these same utilities now building solar is actually quite encouraging. So anyway, back in around 2009 timeframe, I was trying to promote the clean energy economy in Florida, but I was getting nowhere. I had a Tea Party governor who wouldn't let the staff even mention the word climate change. You have utility monopolies that don't want you to do this. And I was in a situation where I was actually having to go to these entities to ask their permission to do what was right for my community. And it was at that point where I finally decided, no, we've got to break open the clean energy economy in a different way, in a way that I don't have to go and get the permission from an energy monopoly and a Tea Party governor. I want to do this whether you like it or not. And so back in 2009, President Obama rolled out the ARA program, the American Recovery Act, and he included monies in that through DOE for seed grants, for basically to try and kickstart the creation of innovative local clean energy financing programs. And so we threw our idea out there of wanting to create the first local government green bank in America and to basically create a green community development financial institution which is a type of program that's approved through Treasury. And to our utter amazement, we got this huge grant to start the organization. So in 2010, we created the nonprofit. In 2011, we'd staffed up and closed our first loan. And now over the last 10 years, we have grown from 1 county to 4 states, and we're about to open up a 5th state right now, which we'll get into in a little more detail. But really the key was that we felt like financing was the key to opening up the clean energy economy. If you don't have savings, if you don't have the ability to get money, how do you invest in these technologies? We know that they're cost effective, but if you can't overcome that financial burden to take advantage of those technologies, then basically we're helping rich people go solar. And that's not what this is about. Yes, I want rich people to go solar, but I also want working class families and retirees on fixed income to also participate and benefit from the clean energy economy. So our nonprofit bank is really focusing on underserved people. And that includes, working class families, it includes retirees on fixed incomes, it includes people who don't have great credit scores, but people need access to financing. So when we rolled out our program, what our real innovation is to do unsecured loans directly to homeowners. Most CDFIs in America were not doing that. We basically help move the national CDFI industry into the clean energy sector. And now there's a lot of other CDFIs that are trying to follow suit, but there's great opportunities there. And then I would just briefly mention that we've been working on climate equity for about 10 years. It's now the buzzword, but 10 years ago, nobody really was even paying attention to this. So it's kind of exciting to see all of this, momentum and support that is finally in existence. And lastly, I just mentioned that we're proud founding members of a group called the American Green Banks Consortium, which are green banks from all over the country. And then this is just quickly our mission. And again, you'll see the key here is providing access. We're trying to help rebuild and empower underserved communities by providing them access to low-cost financing so that they can invest in a broad array of sustainable building practices. Energy efficiency, renewables, resilience. We've even added water quality loans, disability loans, all types of things. But this is our key mission. And then a lot of folks, because our name is the Solar and Energy Loan Fund, there's a lot of confusion. They think we only do solar, but there is a key word there. It's END, Solar and Energy Loan Fund. And we do, because our original grant from DOE had us focusing on energy efficiency, that's where we started. But we've expanded to include renewables, resilience, and so forth and so on. So this tries to capture all the different types of home improvement projects that we'll finance through our various lending programs. And we've even now, it's not just in the home, but now we're even adding septic to sewer conversion so people can get off their septic tanks hooked up to central sewer. And so it's really a holistic approach that we're trying to help homeowners truly be sustainable. And then this is just a little bit more detail about those types of improvements within each of those broad buckets. But most of what we're doing in low and moderate income areas is energy efficiency, helping with weatherization, putting in high efficiency air conditioners. Those alone will help you reduce your energy use by 20–25%. And then once you've reduced your energy use, then we'll size a solar system to that reduced demand. So we don't just provide financing, we also provide building science expertise and really try and help guide a person through this process so they're doing it cost effectively and wisely. And then, our key in terms of what we're doing is financial inclusion, but we also have a broad array of what I would just kind of describe as project management. We're also pre-screening all the contractors to make sure that they have proper licenses and insurance. We're checking pricing to make sure that our clients are not being gouged by unscrupulous contractors. And then we're basically helping them through this entire process. And then once the project's done and the local building official signs off on it, then we will stroke a check directly to the contractor at the end of the project. And then one of the things that we are trying to accomplish is what we broadly describe as triple bottom line impacts. The impacts of our work are benefiting health and social related issues. It's helping obviously with the environment. And then a big piece, and this is something that's really important as we sell the clean energy economy, is the economic benefits. not just to the homeowner, but also the economic development opportunities herein. You know, when I hear like when AOC rolled out the Green New Deal and the critics started talking about this big sacrifice we had to make, I'm laughing. Solar's cheaper than buying carbon-based fuels off the grid. We're not going to sacrifice. I'm going to save you money. I'm going to stop you from having to send your energy dollars out of the state to buy carbon-based fuels from other states and other countries, and it's going to help our environment. It's going to help with national security. I mean, it's a no-brainer. This is not a sacrifice. It's a missed opportunity, and that's what we need to do is help people take advantage of these opportunities. And then this is just a little closer look at the impacts that you'll have directly on a homeowner. I mentioned like the energy efficiency upgrades generally will cut energy use and your carbon footprint by about 20–25%. That's what most of our clients are doing. Some clients are also installing solar PV and are able to create net zero homes, meaning they're producing all of their own energy off of their roofs and doing it cost effectively. And then the premium is not only eliminating your energy bill, but then going out and purchasing an electric vehicle and plugging it into your house and getting rid of your gas bill as well. Think about how much money you spend on energy and the fact that it's outflowing to others. These programs are helping you take your energy dollars and put them back into building equity in your home, helping you buy a car, right? You're investing your own energy dollars back into your own assets. And so it's a critical opportunity to promote economic development in your own well-being. But this is more than an energy issue. And I think that's one thing that as we work in underserved communities and help a lot of folks, you realize you're also enhancing their quality of life. There's health-related issues. You know, if you're 80 years old in Florida in August and it's 90 degrees and it's high humidity and your AC goes out, that's not an energy issue. That's a health and quality of life issue, right? So yeah, it can literally be a life or death issue. And we've helped, you know, I remember actually Duanne is going to talk about one of our clients, but we have lots of folks where health is a big piece of what we're actually doing. And then lastly, I just want to close that we haven't just financed $20+ million to help homeowners. We've created $20+ million of economic development activity. And so our inclusive financing is actually helping contractors capture a market that they can't currently penetrate. If people don't have good credit scores and the contractor shows up, he wants to sell them a roof, he wants to sell them an AC, but they can't qualify for financing. So what does he do? He walks away. Homeowner isn't helped, he loses the business, he goes on and looks elsewhere. We step in and fill that financial gap, help the homeowner, but then also capture that work for our contractors as well.
The 40 million is direct impact, right? There's also indirect impact to the supply chain.
Absolutely. No, it's a great point, Chris, about the supply chain. Our biggest contractor is a mom and pop AC company out of Fort Pierce that's done $1.2 million with us, one company. Wow. And I went and visited their headquarters the other day and met with the owner, and their whole stockyard was full of ACs and so forth. And what does he say to me? How proud he is that all of his products are American made. So we're not just financing the homeowner and helping his business, but as you noted, now you're also supporting a supply chain of US made products into the manufacturing sector, right? Which also has huge economic development benefits. So I'm almost done. I want to get Duanne up here, but I want to just say that one of the challenges we had as a nonprofit is we got the initial grant to get started, but we didn't have venture capital to help us expand our program. So we had to try and team up with the leaders, the most progressive leaders in the state of Florida, to see if we could get some seed grants from them to help us expand into new areas and then grow the lending activity in those areas so that we could then sustain our program. And we were born in St. Lucie County, but the city of Orlando was our first big partner. In fact, Chris, I think you were just coming on board right about that time. Right. So yeah, and so Jeff Benavides, who is now the Orange County Sustainability Director, was actually a staff person for us operating this program when we had the funding, right? But we've been able to develop partnerships with more than a half a dozen local governments all over the state. We've now set up new satellite offices in St. Pete, Tampa, and Orlando, and we're currently opening up new offices right now in Atlanta and Miami. So it's pretty exciting. We've had 400% growth over the last 4 years, and we're just expanding into these areas. So, but I do want to thank the city of Orlando, Orange County, and also the Energy Foundation for cobbling together funds to help give us a seed grant so that we could get established here and grow this program. And I'm going to close with this last slide talking about how does this partnership work with our local government. So St. Pete took $300,000 from the BP oil spill and gave that to us as a grant so that we could hire staff, put boots on the ground, and open up a new satellite office in St. Pete. We then raised basically $2.5–3 million of loan capital, and over the first 3 years, we ended up doing about $2.5 million of projects. That's an 8-to-1 leveraging of their original seed grant with a return on investment of 706%. Now, I'm a former county commissioner, and we gave money to nonprofits. None of them came back 1-to-1 match, let alone an 8-to-1 match and a 706 ROI. That is a great return on investment for local governments. And the best thing of all is that if we get the lending up to $1 million, $1.5 million in these new regions, we derive some revenue from our lending activity, and that's the economies of scale that we need so that when the grant runs out, we have sufficient revenue coming in from this new lending activity to sustain the program after the grant is gone. So that's what's happened in St. Pete. We're in year 4. The grant is gone, but we have enough lending activity that we actually are fully staffed up and operating as usual. So that's what we're currently doing in Orlando, and then we'll replicate in Miami as well. So with that, I want to close, and I'd like to invite Duanne Andrade to come talk a little bit more about our lending programs.